It's been a while since we've spoken about watches here on the channel, and you guys have been DMing me asking for an update on the watch collection. Well, I can tell you that I have actually been selling my watches, and the first one to go was my Rolex. Yes, it's true, the Rolex has gone, and am I sad about it? Absolutely not, which tells me it was the right decision. Now, if we skip back to the video where I actually went and bought that watch from Seth at Essential Watches, I was so pumped to be able to be in a position where I could go and buy my very first Rolex. And don't get me wrong, that memory is still very special to me, and I'm so glad that I did it. I have no regrets in owning that watch at all. Actually, a little bit of a dig to the naysayers. When I bought that watch, which was a custom Rolex Submariner, it had been DLC coated black, and then it had the yellow indices on the bezel as well, and then it also had a yellow seconds hand. People absolutely slam me for it. How could you buy a modified Rolex? It's not going to be worth anything. You're never going to be able to sell it, blah, blah, blah. I laughed because at the time I thought, A, I'm never going to sell it because, you know, I love this thing. Why would I? It's my first Rolex, blah, blah, blah. And B, it's my brand colors. You know, my whole thing is neon yellow and black. Like, I love that color combo. So having my first Rolex be in keeping with that was just really cool to me. But I did sell the watch, and the best part about it is I made money on it. So everybody out there that told me that I was stupid and told me that I'd made a terrible decision, no, I didn't. And that's it. I'm not going to gloat any more than that because I feel like that is enough, and I'm not a gloaty person, and I'm very centered. I'm not wearing shoes. I'm grounded right now. I did make the right decision, and owning that watch cost me nothing and actually made me some money. And more importantly, the reason why I did decide to sell that watch, and the thing that has brought me to the mindset that I'm in now regarding luxury watches, was the fact that I actually wasn't wearing it that much. And it's not because I didn't like it. I loved it. But it was like a special occasion watch, right? So it would sit in the watch box on the watch winder, and I didn't really wear it. It would only come out now and again. What I found myself wearing all the time were things like my Seiko. So this is a custom Seiko. This is actually quite an expensive Seiko. It's all OEM Seiko parts made by a guy called Loomshot, and I think there's only like 3 of them that exist in this configuration. And I absolutely love this. It was just over $1,000. So this was my first sort of luxury. Obviously people are going to say Seiko can't be luxury, but you know what I'm saying, like the fact that it's a limited production, it's custom, all the rest of it, that gives it the value rather than it just being a Seiko. And so I love this watch and I wear it all the time. I also have my Seiko mod that looks like a Batgirl. And the best part about that is that I never try to tell anybody that it is a Rolex. When people compliment it, I always say, you're going to love it even more when you find out that it was only $300. And then people go, why, is it a fake? And I'm like, no, like, look. And I show them that it's actually just a Seiko mod. And that is sort of the other end of the Seiko mod spectrum to this one. This one is all OEM Seiko parts. The GMT that I have, the Batgirl that I have, is all aftermarket apart from the Seiko movement itself, which arguably is the most important part, right? You want it to still run like a Seiko. All of the other parts can be machined to, I would argue, the same quality, because the bracelet on that is as good as the bracelet on a real Batgirl. Trust me, I've looked. And the way that it feels on the wrist is just as good as well. And so when I started to get into those conversations with people, while I had this Rolex sat in a box at the house, I was like, why? What do I get my joy from with these watches? Is it the fact that another guy is going to look at it and think, oh, he's doing well for himself, or whatever, you know, like a luxury watch is a sign of success, right? It's a sign of wealth. It's a sign, and it's all stuff that I don't care about. Like, I love watches because I love how they look. I don't care how much money you've got. I never have. Like, it doesn't matter to me. So for me, the joy of watches is in the conversations about them, and it's about the, you know, beauty of them, looking at them. I don't care about the status. It really doesn't matter. There are plenty of people that I know that have multi-million-dollar watch collections that I have no interest in because I don't like the watches. So when I started to get all of these compliments on this Batgirl, it made me think, should I actually sell the Rolex, use the funds that are invested in that to do something worthwhile with, and then continue to wear all of these different watches that cost way less that still give me that same joy? So that's what I did. So I paid off my truck, so I now owe nobody anything. I own every single thing in my life, And that is such an amazing feeling. And so, like I said, I've kind of changed my viewpoint on my ownership of luxury watches. I still love them, don't get me wrong, but for me, the fun and the enjoyment of owning one, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And I would much rather own a bunch of these cheaper watches that are still conversation starters and have watches that give me the enjoyment of being involved in the industry without having to tie up thousands of dollars in these timepieces that mostly sit in a watch box. Anyway, that brings me to my new daily watch, because I have been on the hunt for a daily watch for a while now. I did wear my Apple Watch a lot and it was great, but like I didn't really like the form factor. It's kind of goofy with it being square and it just, I don't know, I liked it, but I never loved it. And then I started to wear my G-Shocks again. I started to wear the Batgirl again. I've been wearing this one a lot, but I missed the smart functionality. So I realized that what I needed from my daily watch was a combination of the looks and the ruggedness of, you know, a well-made automatic watch, but also the smart functionality of like the Apple Watch. And so I ended up landing on this, which you may have seen me wearing in a few videos recently. This is the Garmin Tactix 7 Pro Ballistics. There you go, and on command it has given me a smart notification. So yeah, the world's longest name. This watch has been absolutely phenomenal. And what I will say is there was a huge learning curve, and I'm not going to go into all the functionality of this watch because there is so much. But I will tell you why I have replaced essentially a Rolex with a Garmin. This thing wasn't cheap. It's about $1,500, $1,600, and thank you to my mum and my granddad that bought it for me for my Christmas present. One of the things that I love the most about it is the fact that it gives me everything that I'm interested in on the main screen all of the time. Like I said, there's plenty of videos that go through all the functionality, but for me, just to run through top to bottom, what I have on here is the dual time zone, which the GMT, I love that about the Batgirl because it's nice to be able to tell what time it is back in the UK where my friends and family are. It has how many calories I've burnt, how many steps I've taken, and my current heart rate, date, time, battery, body battery, which is like a Garmin thing, which actually has been really good. I've been trying to focus more on my health and fitness recently, and this has been a really good way for me to keep in check, and it's been kind of promoting more of a healthy lifestyle because it's giving me the data on my wrist all the time. There's no hiding from it. Then I've got my altitude, I have the next sun event, so that's either a sunrise or a sunset, and then the weather today, and it's also got the moon phase as well. That is all on just the glances screen, so just on the front screen. So I don't even have to go into the menu for a lot of the stuff. Outside of that, obviously you guys know that I'm always out on adventures and the battery life is phenomenal. People claim like 2-3 weeks from them. Those people aren't using the watches. If you use the watch daily, get notifications, look at stuff, you know, if you're interacting with the watch a normal amount, you can expect between 3 days on a busy week if you've been using it a lot, and up to 6 or 7 days if you're just chilling and not using it so much. It also depends on what watch face you have. If you just have one that tells the time, then it will use less power because it's not having to update so much. So I think that's a good way to eke out a bit more battery power from it. But I would rather take the less battery and have all of the stuff there all of the time. And also it is way better than my Apple Watch, which I would have to charge literally every single night, which made it very difficult for me to wear when I was sleeping so I could monitor all of my sleep stuff, which this also does. One of the biggest feature sets that this has is its GPS ability and the fact that you can pull up maps on the watch. Now they're very, very tiny, so it's more of a get you home safe thing than it is something that you're going to use all of the time. But it does have very detailed topographic maps, so you can see, you know, how steep things are and all the rest of it. You can set waypoints. It's got a bunch of different things to help you navigate. So should I ever get lost out on a hike or out in the truck when I'm camping, or even on the ocean, I'm able to navigate using this. So let's say that I was riding out on the ocean, I hit a fog bank, my GPS falls off, all of my compasses that I have disappear, and all I'm left with is this. Well, then I'm able to use this to set a heading and it will literally point me to the direction of whichever port or beach that I'm looking for. And then also I'm able to log rides, drives, runs, hikes. I mean, you can literally do everything. It is nuts how much stuff you're able to do with this thing. And so I've been using this out in the desert. When I went to the King of the Hammers pre-run day, I was logging all of our drives so that I knew where we had been, so that if I wanted to go back in the future by myself, then I could find the trails. The other nice thing is you can actually add locations, so when you get to a spot, you can hit the button and it will drop a pin where you are that you can save and then access through the app on your phone. So just a very good watch for explorers and adventurers, travel, whatever you want to call it, people that like to get out there. Then when it comes to the form factor, I think it looks great. I actually swapped out the band. It comes with like a rubberized band that's meant to be more like the sporty one, and then it also has like I don't know, like a NATO strap type thing. I found that it was very uncomfortable, and it was actually kind of giving me like spots on my wrist, like little pimples, and so I changed it out for just an aftermarket Velcro band that is way more secure, way easier to take on and off as well, ironically, and it's just super comfy now. But on the wrist, I think it looks great. It is a big watch. I believe it's about a 47 millimeter. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen, but it's very big. But it looks great. It also has solar as well, which isn't going to recharge the watch fully, but if you're wearing it out on a sunny day and it gets a load of solar on this little ring that runs around the outside, I'm not sure if you can make that out, but around the outside of the face, there's like a little red ring, and that is actually the solar panel. And so that is what is able to top up the watch, is how I'd put it. It's definitely not going to charge it all the way from empty to full, but it does help to at least give you a little bit more juice if you're out on the trail for a couple of days at a time. Now, this model is the Pro Ballistics model, which essentially means that it's the more tactical one. Am I going to use those functions? Probably not, but if I ever did get into long-range shooting, which is something that I would like to do, then you can link it with your rangefinder, and basically it will give you the adjustments that you need to make in order to be on target, taking in the wind, elevation, all the rest of it into consideration, which is very cool. So, like I said, has a lot more functions than I need. This is a really cool one. So it has a very bright LED, and it also can turn green, so it has a green light instead of the white light. So if you're wearing night vision goggles, then you can still read maps and see it through nods rather than having that bright white light. So like I said, a very tactical watch. Do I need all the functions? No, but is it cool to have them? Yes, and I'm a gearhead, so I do like that fact about it. It also has a kill switch, so if you press a certain configuration of buttons, it will completely wipe the watch. So if I ever get kidnapped by the enemy, then they won't know where I've been sea-doing. But overall, a very, very capable watch that looks great, has all of the functionalities that I need. It's able to keep up with my lifestyle. I've bashed it off things, I've dropped it already, and there's been no dents or scratches. The band is aftermarket and it's getting a little bit frayed up, but whatever, I'll buy a new one. It was $15 or something. Not a big deal, and super easy to swap on and off as well. And then all of the health benefits of it too, being able to track all of my vitals, see what my sleep has been like, and really make a conscious effort to live more healthy and set up routines that make me sleep better and all the rest of it. That's all stuff that I wouldn't be able to do wearing just a regular watch. So I'm very pleased with my decision to get this as my daily watch. And who knows, maybe in the future I will get back into the luxury watch game, because I do still love them. But at the moment, the way that my life is, with what I like to do and the things that I assign value to, it's just not something that I'm really bothered about. But I will still enjoy looking at them, I will still enjoy having conversations about them, and keeping up with all of the current ins and outs of the luxury watch market. I just don't feel the need to own one at the moment. So it's interesting that I've kind of come full circle, because when I did my very first watch collection video, it was basically all just cheaper watches like this and G-Shocks, which you guys know that I'm a huge fan of G-Shock. And I feel like this is sort of the grown-up version of a G-Shock. That's the way that I look at it. And I've kind of come all the way back to that, because I would much rather own 3 or 4 of these that are still conversation starters. They still feel great. They still tell the time, which is, you know, guess what a watch is meant to do. But they don't break the bank, than own just one Rolex. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think I'm crazy? Have I made the wrong decision? Should I go back on bended knee and try and buy back my Rolex? or do you think I've done it right and this thing fits way more with who I am, what I do, and my needs? Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. We've got some absolute bangers coming up. I feel like I always say that, but really, like 2024 is already shaping up to be epic. We have King of the Hammers coming up very soon, and I am so excited. Last year I only did it for 2 days, just one little overnight camping. This year we are going for 4 whole days, and it's going to be so good. So stay tuned. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe, because I'd love to see you here again. And a lot of you naughty people watch these videos without clicking the subscribe button, and I would appreciate it if we could get that subscriber count up, get the views up, you know, just get more people watching these videos, because I love interacting with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the videos. So thank you for watching. Most importantly, remember, until next time, don't do anything I wouldn't do. See ya.